I would imagine there's a fear behind it, embarrassment, the inability to, or even just a physician just saying like, you need this.
I saw an interesting post. One of the guys I follow online, he posted some meme, and it was like, if a doctor prescribes you medicine before asking about your sleep, nutrition, fitness, your work habits, then he's not a doctor, he's a drug dealer.
Welcome to the Hidden Summit podcast. My name is Cavan Valance, and I will be your host. On this podcast, we're going to talk about fitness, nutrition, lifestyle, and everything in between. If you find anything valuable in this episode, the only thing I'm ever going to ask you to do is subscribe so you can keep coming back and elevate your life to become better every single day. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Glad you are here. We got another episode for you guys today, and I am joined by a good, long-term, great friend, actually, Mr. Jared Stein. So, Jared, welcome to the Hidden Summit podcast. How are we doing?
Good. Thanks for having me. This is great to be here. It's a great thing you guys are doing.
Yeah, you've seen it through from the birth of it all, and everybody listening understands where we came from, but having your support along the way has been awesome. For everybody who doesn't know, Jared and I worked together for a long time, and you basically snagged me up after we took a CrossFit class together, and you were like,
right.
Hey, you want to work with me? Like, I'm opening up my own gym. And I was like, wait, what?
Well, the first day we worked out together at Ace River, you put me in the pain cave and anything went down. Really just like on the last rep, knocked myself out. And back to the L train, and it was just like, hey, I got something. You want to come join me?
Yeah. Those were back in the days where I was like too stupid to know how to pace, and everybody was just like, how fast and hard can we go at every workout? And that was a cool time because I went in and I found a Groupon for that gym. And they were like, hey, you need to do foundations. And I was like, I don't need to do foundations. I know everything. Actually, funny story. I went in and I told Eric, I was like, hey, like, my name's Cavan. I've never done this before, but I want to compete. And he laughed at me. And I was like, motherfucker, like, I'm trying to pay you here. You know what I mean? Humbled in foundations, went through the program. And then I remember us taking those classes together. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, this guy guy's fit. Let's do more of this. And then that workout happened and the rest is history. So awesome. What time is it out there by you right now in Arizona?
It's just about 7:30. So I just got back from the gym, did a little sprint workout, little GHD handstand push-up, medium deadlift, like 5-round sprint, and then pretty much wrapped it up. It takes me, we're 37. It takes me 30 minutes to warm up.
Right.
And that's without touching a barbell or a weight. And so after I got done with my mobility, I was like, all right, if I want to get back in time, this needs to be a sub 10-minute workout. So let's hit the gas.
Yeah, let's move. We have priorities nowadays. Can't take our time doing a 2-hour workout every day. Right. Yeah, I know you had to come back, do your hair and all of that fun stuff. Are you working from home right now, or do you have to go into the office?
Today I'm home. Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And like, I know where you work, and I just don't know technically what you do. What are you doing these days?
Yeah. So I'm the vice president of projects at Savannah. So we're a wellness resort, world-class spa, excellent restaurants, wellness programs. So think meditation, yoga, but also fitness. So there's a ton of fitness style classes, whether it's trampoline dance to HIIT classes to spin. We have it all. So we have 100 and something programs every day, and our guests are there to get well. And that's what we're trying to inspire, a healthier, happier world. And that's our mission. And that's the kind of the course we've been set on. And so what I do there is I run alongside the CEO and initiatives that he may not have time to tackle during the day. So I'm not so much on the operations side, more on the project management and analysis side.
Awesome. It sounds like a big juxtaposition in the sense of like the run and gun, let's build 6 gyms in 5 years in New York, what we did, compared to like wellness, meditation, collectiveness, retreat. That's awesome.
And it's in Arizona. So like the pace from New York City to Arizona is way slower. So things move at a different pace, and it's taken me, it was an adjustment period. It took me some time to realize that not everything needs to be done in that second, and we're just going to take our time and get it right, as opposed to building a plane while you're flying it.
Yeah, and I feel I'm in that fucking role every day and building this thing while flying it. But there's a lot that you've shown me through this transition. And one of the things that you said, and it was on a different topic of like relationships, right? But it carries through where don't make any huge decisions in your 20s. and make
Yeah,
those
that's right.
decisions in your 30s. And the way I heard that is I fucked up multiple times and things have happened multiple times, and we live and we learn. And thank goodness you and I are people who can pivot, right? We're not defined by who we were in these moments of whether it was lack or hurting or just making mistakes or like not thinking clearly. But while I don't know a lot, I know more than what I did. And at 37,
Sure.
similar to you can wrap your head around that. Oh, I don't need to destroy myself and stress myself out every single day. And I can go to
Yeah.
bed at night and wake up and live a happy life. It's weird when you can look back 10 years, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You
It was an
keep trying.
important lesson, right? It's an important lesson. It's just that, like, one, the sun's going to rise tomorrow and no one, like, the world doesn't care about your feelings. So, like, you need to put that in perspective. And when I was going through that period where, I probably shared that parable from my aunt, it's just like, life is going to move on and there's better ways to handle it than getting your blood pressure real high and getting stressed out. As you get older and more mature, you can think through those problems and those scenarios, and you're just probably a better person when you're calmer as opposed to thinking with emotion. It's a sign of a weak is when you start reacting from emotion. And when you said that's right, said from a guy who's probably done it before. And
Right. Most people are based on, I just did a talk on this the other day. Most people are basing all of their decisions on emotions because that's what triggers like who they believe that they are and their identity versus thinking
yeah,
logically on the situation and forward thinking of what they could do. They never think about who they want to be and act like that person. They base everything off what has happened, and then that just spirals. And then one day they wake up and they're like, how did I get here? The little
right.
decisions along the way.
It's a lot of little decisions, and I guess it's a good segment into fitness. We were talking last week about CrossFit dying and the affiliate model dying, and people just don't have the patience to see the road. And you didn't get fat from one slice of pizza; you got fat from all the slices of pizza, right?
Right.
You're not going to get fit from one workout, and you got to lose it, whether it be weight or whatever you're dealing with, the same way you gained it, and it's usually very slowly. And people spend a lot of time breaking their body and breaking their mind over the long term and think that they're going to get 2 weeks of fitness and look like a professional athlete. And it's just not the case. And gaining it, if you want to talk about weight gain or losing your fitness, or everything is slow. Nothing happens in one shot. And there's no quick fixes, whether you want to talk about Ozempic, like no, it's not going to work. And it's not a long-term fix. And so you have to lose it the way you gained it. And it's usually slowly, and it's usually with patience. And if you don't have the foresight and the want, and this is to the weak minds, right? If you're not strong enough to go on the journey, then what are you really doing, right? You're telling yourself a lie, and ultimately lying to yourself is like the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, you're setting an unrealistic expectation for what you're going into, right? A journey that has a lot of unknowns. And you said a couple things there. And I'll ask you from your perspective as a gym owner and then your perspective looking back. I think, do you think that the gyms, the CrossFit gyms specifically, for the ones that you've been to, because there are so many of them now, I don't have the exact
Sure.
number,
Yeah.
but are guilty to fill their gyms and speak that narrative to clients that this will be a fast fix?
In my experience, I've never seen anyone try to sell a quick fix. If you want to go back to 2017, 2018, when we were doing it and talking about 6-week challenges, we were talking about 6 weeks, right? That's a time commitment. And we saw a lot of attrition because people just couldn't build a habit over
Right.
2 weeks, and we let them slip. And you can only take so much responsibility for your clients. And we use the gym that I'm at now. And what I think people come to the affiliate for, and the reason why I don't know if the affiliate is dead, is that they come for the fitness and they stay for the community. And people come and think they're going to lose all this weight and be this athlete and it's going to fix their problems. What it really does is really fill a hole. And you can get taken in by the community. And what we built at LAB was a really good example. Where I'm at now at Octane is a really good example. Like, my friends in Phoenix are my gym buddies. And it has nothing to do with how much Tyler deadlifts or how much Dalton push presses. It has to do with, hey, we're going to be in this space together for an hour every day. We're going to have a shared pain and a shared experience. And this workout's going to hurt, but that we don't care what the clock says on like who wins or who loses. That's not a part of our life or psyche anymore. But we're going to do the fist bumps and say good job and bitch and moan that it was spicy or it was too fast or the bar was loaded, whatever the complaint is at the moment. But the reality is we're buying that shared experience. And I think that's why the affiliate model still has legs. And if people can get the part of, hey, I'm not going to get fit in the first 2 weeks of CrossFit, and they start making their friends, I think that's where the affiliate model really shines. And that's what worked for us. If you remember, over the gyms that we had, like, they had these little silos. And at first I was like a little skeptical. I thought that was going to break the model, but the reality was that was the glue. Was that people were friends. They would show up. Like, we had a 2:00 p.m. class in the middle of a rundown Williamsburg, and it was full. And it was just because every day, because those guys were friends and they liked throwing down together, and people were changing their schedules to make sure they came to the gym. None of them are professional athletes, right? But they're all still doing CrossFit 7-8 years later, right? I don't know, right? And so that validates the model for me, is that you can come and get your community. And that's where other gyms, whether it be Orange Theory, F45, Cycle Bar, they lack, because you're in a dark room, lights are off, there's no real coaching happening, and you're just in the same space. You're not sharing the experience. And I think that's where the affiliate model probably excels versus a big box gym or another type of model.
Yeah, if done well. There are plenty who do not.
Sure.
And I've seen it
Yeah.
firsthand.
Oh, yeah. No,
More
there's
so,
toxic environments. Yeah.
yeah. And I like, with everything you're saying, this is, especially now, every day we're further and further away from the pandemic and COVID and being on lockdown. And this is an opportunity to bring people together. And while I see it firsthand, running an online company, that people don't want to be on Zoom calls anymore. They don't want to show up to the Zoom workouts anymore. So if you have the opportunity to do things in person, like, I would lean into that fully, make that a part of your culture, do things more regularly, put it on the marketing calendar, talk about it with new members. And that was a thing when we were interviewing people in front of class purposefully. Their biggest fear was like, oh, what are people going to think when they see me? And I was like, can you take a look at this classroom right now? Does anybody have time to look around? They just know that people are doing what they're doing. And at the end, everybody's high-fiving and hugging and laughing. And then they go on with their day and they come back and do it again. And they were like, oh, I see that now. But again, like, getting out of your own way is part of it, making it part of the culture. It's another part of it. And the last part is really owning, like, being okay with that patient narrative in a world of instant gratification. Like, you got to push the long-term success.
Yeah. Nothing in life ever comes quickly. Like, I can't think of anything in terms of that comes quickly. And the reality is that people are looking for instant gratification, and maybe that's something we can't deliver. And then they'll go to Ozempic and lose a bunch of weight, have one slice of pizza when they come off, and they'll gain all their weight back, and then they come see us.
Yeah, there's always.
Yeah, either way, I feel like the funnel leads there, and it's to fitness and wellness. And some people just have a longer path to finding it.
Yeah, and to each his own, and everybody's journey is going to look a little bit different. And there's always been an Ozempic, a version of it.
Yeah.
Whether it be some crazy fad diet or a pill or a supplement, like, it was all the rage. And this is now, and there will always be something else. And I've seen firsthand family members go and get surgery before they even decide to take care of themselves or give an attempt. And that stems from not knowing. I would imagine there's a fear behind it, embarrassment, the inability to, or even just a physician just saying, like, you need this.
I saw an interesting post. One of the guys I follow online, he posted some meme, and it was like, if a doctor prescribes you medicine before asking about your sleep, nutrition, fitness, all of your work habits, then he's not a doctor, he's a drug dealer. And as a son of a physician, like, that one hit me. And I was like, that's right. And I look at my own father, who had a triple bypass in 2019, you remember? And I came home for Thanksgiving. We had a fight because he's eating a piece of pie. And I'm like, what are you doing? And I was like, if you were your own patient, the first thing you would prescribe would be diet and exercise for heart disease. The first thing, right? It wouldn't be a nitroglyceride to get the blood flow. It wouldn't be a blood pressure medicine. It wouldn't be any of that, right? It would be, go get 10,000 steps and maybe eat some broccoli, right? And you would start there, right? And it's actually the same as what Greg Glassman used to say. He's like, you want to start to get fit, you got to break the glycemic chain, and it's squats and broccoli. And that was his boiled down solve. And so when I think about it in that lens, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and there's a lot to it. And what I'm hearing is that it's more simple than people make it out to be in their minds and the physicians make it out to be in the office. And I have no personal experience with it, just stories and people who have told me about their experiences. But anytime someone comes into our 4 digital walls, I'm going to assess your stress. And I'm no physician, right? I have no degrees in that, but I know that we carry a lot of stress, as we just spoke about, from our 20s into our 30s and our 30s into our 40s. And it doesn't go away unless we start to address it. So where's that coming from? Whether it be diet or lifestyle or what we put on our skin or our emotional stress, mindset stress, what are we holding on to that we need to release? So we just make a list of what's primary, secondary, tertiary, and we start there to lower cortisol in the body, to decrease inflammation in the body, get you walking, get you moving. We don't want you to train 100% on day one, because what's going to happen? You're going to crash and you're going to burn. And they come in and they're like, wait, I don't have to do this crazy workout for 30 days. And I'm like, no, motherfucker, like, you haven't done anything in 5-10 years. We're just going to get you moving and breathing first.
That's right.
And they're like, wait, that works? And I'm like, yes, it does work. But speaking about diet, I'm curious. I'm going to pivot here for a second, going off of Greg Glassman's theory and CrossFit methodology, which I do appreciate. It's a very well-written essay, and I think that everybody should go and would benefit from. I don't want to should on anybody, but would benefit from digesting that and thinking about it. Are you still doing the carnivore diet? I know you started that this year.
Yeah.
So talk to me about your experience with that, because that's a hot topic now and you've had some success. So I want to hear about it.
Yeah. So in October, I was doing some deadlifts in a workout, not heavy. It was 185 pounds. So you put in perspective, that could be heavy for a lot of people, but for me, that was a pretty normal loading. And I got these like blinding headaches, and like it was like a tension headache that came up from my traps and racked my brain, and like then it wouldn't go away, and I just had a headache for months and got all the scans, and doctors couldn't tell me what it was. They're like, try this migraine medicine. I'm like, you're guessing, like you're guessing because you don't know, and that's okay, and I appreciate you trying to help me. And I went down this rabbit hole of thinking about elimination diets and what could be causing a headache. And one of those things that causes headache is like inflammation and tightness and all that stuff. And I had thought my diet was pretty clean, like maybe 80%, 90% clean, and maybe some excess carbohydrates on the weekends and sugar, because I'm a human. And go down this rabbit hole, find Carnivore, listen to the Joe Rogan episodes with John Baker, and it makes, like, a lot of it made sense. And I'm like not really worried about the things that traditional medicine tells me that they didn't study it long enough. You're going to have too much salt in your blood, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, you guys told me sugar was good for me and salt was bad, and that paradigm off. So anyways, coming off of Christmas, I was with Kate, my fiance's family. And as soon as I landed, I'm like, why wait to the new year? I can just start now, because I'm not a very patient person. So I started on December 27th and dove right in. Didn't know like walking in period. I just head first, because I don't know. Yeah, I was like, because I didn't know how to like dip my toe into this. And so I've been on it since, with maybe the exception of the night we got engaged. We had a little bit of dessert and I had a French fry. And other than that, it's been great. From a statistics standpoint, I'm down, as of this morning, I'm down 11 pounds off my high, but that's just a number. I'm not attributing that. I look in the mirror and I look less swollen. My abdominals are coming back, which is an exciting vanity piece. But the real exciting part is I've essentially not needed coffee throughout the day. Like when my body is in ketosis, like my energy levels are just really high. My sleep is unbelievably better. Like I track it on Whoop, and REM and deep sleep have gone up. And my aches and pains, like the general stuff that I was feeling in my 30s, like if I did too many rope climbs, like my elbows would ache, or if I squatted too much, my knees would bother me. All that went away. And there's something to be said about taking the inflammatory stuff out of your diet and feeling good, right? It seems really simple. It's just hard to do. And the first 10 days were tough. I had carbohydrate cravings. Apparently there's like enzymes in your stomach that feed off of sugars, and they send signals to your brain that say, hey, you're hungry, you need these things. And I learned to ignore them, because I would just put down like a pound of chicken. I'm like, I'm not hungry, but my brain says I'm hungry. It's absurd. I'm very full. And so the mental fortitude piece came with it. And I'm just like, once I got over that and I wasn't craving sugar, I wasn't craving carbs, I was just feeling good. And I thought I was going to stop after a month and just start reintroducing things. But I'm like, this is the best I've felt in years. And like, why would I Why am I messing with it? And I don't need to mess with it. I like the food that I'm eating. I'm not bored with it. And so I'm just going to stick with it for a while. And if I mess up and I have a slice of pizza this weekend because my friends are in town, okay, I restart tomorrow. And it's not the end of the world. I just can't have 2 bad days. But I haven't slipped yet. I haven't felt this good in a long time. And there's no reason for me to stop.
Yeah, there's so many things that you're saying. Like one, you said it's a little vanity piece, but let's not throw that under the rug. Everybody wants to look better naked, and that's a good thing to think on. The
Yeah.
health benefits aside, it's not. And what you're saying, and I think what people need to hear more of is just, it's not about the number on the scale. Like you didn't go into this for weight loss.
No,
It was,
that wasn't the plan. It was to get my headaches to go away.
yeah, function so you can be cognitively sound throughout the course of the day and not have to worry about these things when you're training. And sure, we were talking about this yesterday. Your training might look and feel a little bit different. Your strength is going to go up. Your glycolytic energy system is going to probably level off or be tough in longer sessions. But your aerobic work is going to be through the roof as well, which you've shared with me multiple times. And I know you don't like running, and you've been able to maintain that and develop it over the last couple of months. And again, I've never done it, right? Chris, who works with me, he just did it for the month of January. He had some similar thoughts after he accomplished it. And he looks great too, aesthetically, right? It's like super lean. And I just want everybody to know, like, these diets is just taking away a type of food, a certain amount of time, or how much you eat and when you eat, right? So what we're doing is finding out what works for the individual. So you're finding, you didn't know, or you're like, oh, 3, 2, 1, fuck it. Let me jump in and see if this works. And you understand it may not need to be a forever thing, but if it is working for you and you get your blood work done regularly and everything looks good, keep doing it. It doesn't have to change. That's the other thing. People are like, oh, I did this for a month. What can I do now? I'm like, the same thing. We're not, things are going well. Let's keep going.
It's an interesting point, right? Diets, I don't think work. I think lifestyle changes. And if I learned anything, it was like, okay, I need to put my protein first, always. Fill up on my protein. And then if I need to add carbohydrates, if I'm still full, if I'm not full, right, then I can go to the vegetables and starches. I haven't had to cross that bridge yet, but it will happen soon. Right? I'm not saying I'm going to swear on vegetables forever. And the second part is the success begets itself. And I think I glanced over that piece, which was I was feeling better. So my performance in the gym was better. And so fitness got better and I feel better. And it's like this big circle that continues. And when I come out of the gym after a good workout, there's no better feeling. You're like, wow, I feel great. Like I don't feel beat up. And I train an hour a day. I go to my CrossFit gym. We do like a strength piece and we do a conditioning piece. I'm there in and out. And when I leave and I feel good, there's nothing better to start my day with. And my energy's high all day. My recovery is really good. And so when I fall into that circle of just feeling good, I don't want to break it. Like I don't want to do anything like to feel bad. And that even includes like maybe having whiskey at the end of the night. Because I know that like if I have whiskey, I may wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to use the bathroom and I'm not going to be able to go to sleep for an extra hour. So I just don't do it because I just understand the consequence. And these lessons were hard and were tough, but like you have the mental fortitude to do it, then you can shower in that success. And that's what I learned for myself was like, okay, like mentally, I still got it. That was the big win. And yeah, the vanity is nice and the fitness is nice, but also proving to myself that I'm mentally strong enough to just stick with something for that long and make that kind of lifestyle change. It felt great.
Do you have any, now that you've done this and you're seeing results, right? Like when it comes to this mental fortitude, do you have any goals that you're working towards when it comes to your health and fitness? Or is it just more of a, I like where I'm at right now compared to where I was before, stressed, like training longer hours throughout the day. And this is a different part of your life because we talk about goals all the time, but I'd love to know what your take is on it because you're talking about mental toughness and where do you look towards to make sure that you're staying disciplined in these actions?
Yeah, I don't actually have any in the gym goals, as I would say. The results that I'm getting are surprising me every day. And whether it be I hit a 1 rep max bench press at 37 years old on Monday, that blew my freaking brain. I was like, I've never even come close to these weights before. This is nuts. But we had a big squat day on Wednesday, and I was like, or Tuesday, and I was like really pumped about it. Nowhere near my all-time high, but like really excited that I did it. And then forget the strength piece. But now that I'm lighter, my gymnastics is easier. I was never really a big bar muscle up guy, but now it's like my favorite thing to do in the gym, and I love them. And just feeling good and being able to push that limit to saying, hey, I may be a little bit older, but I still have some of that fitness from 10 years ago, and let me dip into that cup and kind of push it a little bit, has felt really good. And for me, it's more of a, hey, do you still have the want or ability to hit the gas? And that went away for a long time. And I didn't have the desire to go full dummy, as Sean Sweeney would say, or just black out. And that was never really my thing when we were throwing down, but I always had the ability to like reach down and get something a little extra. And that desire to want to go there has not been there in a long time. And I would say over the last 2-3 weeks, I've been able to like summon something else and find another gear. And that's been exciting for me. And so keeping the gym fun and exciting is the goal. Like when we talk about overall fitness, if we're talking about weight, like I'm at 214 right now. This is probably the lightest I've been in a long time. If I lost another 4 pounds, great. If I don't, whatever. Like I love the way I look and I feel good, and it's all working for me right now. And so I haven't really set what the next thing is. The next big workout is going to be Murph in Marley. And I'm like, well, remember when we did it like sub 40 a couple of years ago? And I'm like, we're not touching that again.
Yeah, I'm cool if I just do it. I'm like, oh, I did it. It took me an hour.
Right.
I'm fine with that.
So I think what's next for me is I'm going to put the vest back on and probably put some miles on the tires and remind myself, okay, like you do have that 2-mile run coming up. Maybe we start to do that a couple of times a week.
Yep.
The gymnastics will be there. That I'm not too concerned about. But I think maybe that's probably next in terms of goals, is to maybe keep 2 8:30 miles in the bank for Murph. And that would feel really good considering last March, I competed and I ran like an all out mile and it was like 7:45 and I almost died. Nowhere near my top mile time. But
did you hit like a big clean complex after that too?
Yeah, I hit a 285 clean complex because I was just so toast. But it was one of those, hey, are you going to warm up? I was like, oh, I'm warm.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, no, I think that's doing workouts like that every year is a good test of your fitness, not in the sense of I can do better, but like I can still do this. And that's the difference between now and 10 years ago for you
right.
and I.
Yeah.
And then you were never the one to like black out. You always had me on the longer workouts. And I was like, fuck it, 2 minutes. See you later. I'm going to go die right now.
That's right.
That's why we're a good team. We balance each other out. Awesome. I think what I'm hearing with all of this is having goals is great, but if you don't, it's okay to have your lifestyle fit into the collective lifestyle, right? Your fitness lifestyle fit into what it is that you're doing every single day. Like you just got engaged. Congratulations on that. I'm so fucking happy for you. I know both of you are. I can't wait for you guys to come out here so we can celebrate with you. And that's a part of your life right now, right? And okay, moved out to Arizona and you have this job that you enjoy. You're going to the gym. You got your buddies out there. You're finding what I'm most impressed by is like keeping these positive habits like for as long as you have. And it hasn't been that long, but it's just something that I haven't heard you be so engaged with that. And I think what I'm hearing is that you're seeing the benefits carry over from these disciplinary actions in your health to other parts of your life. And you're not trying to fill that void, that gap with instant gratification, temporary moments, which will yield growth over time. Like that consolidated interest of doing the right thing for you will lead you to live the life that you want to live, which is awesome.
Yeah. No, and it's like a savings account, right? I put X amount of dollars away every week. It doesn't feel good when it's not in my checking account because I can't go spend it, but it's nice at the end of the year when there's a big pot of money for your retirement.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel right now, is that maybe I don't have a numerical or a real tangible goal, but for me, the goal is like feeling good. And I didn't realize I was feeling bad until like you realize, like you have that moment, I feel bad. For me, it was the headaches. And it was chalking up my knees hurting or achiness or sluggishness to just getting older. And like, we've been working out hard for a long time. And there was an accumulation factor. And then I realized, I was like, I don't think that's it, right? Like, I don't think what I'm doing is actually breaking down my body that bad. I think there's something else. And there's got to be a time where like the switch flips and you're just like, am I going to do something about it or I'm just going to bitch? And I did my bitching. And I was like, you run out of that time in that space where like, not only your friends don't want to hear it, but like, you don't want to hear it either. And you need to tell yourself the truth, right? That's like the most important thing. It's just being truthful, whether to be to yourself or in relationships or whoever. Telling yourself the truth is the best thing you could possibly do, regardless of how much it hurts or what the outcome is.
That's so easily said. I would love to know the moment, if you can remember, where you were like, all right, fuck this. Like, I got to make a change. The puppy's up. Love it.
Yeah. Wilson's up. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And it was when when all the scans came back clean. So I had a real moment. I may have aneurysm or embolism going. Like, it was scary, like not knowing why my head hurt and not being able to touch a bar, doing everything at 75%. I was like, this is my life now. I'm going to have a headache forever. And it sucks. And the doctor was like, we don't know what it is. And we did the reflex test, and neurologically it was fine. And when she was like, we're going to try this medicine. And I was like, wrong answer. That was the moment. I was just like, I don't want to try medicine. I don't want to be on a pill for the rest of my life. Pharmaceuticals at me. Let's solve the problem. Let's figure it out. And she was, kind and all that stuff, but she was going through her training, right? She was going through a protocol, and none of her protocol asked about alcohol, movement, nutrition. And so I was just like, oh, maybe I should think about that. Maybe I need to stop drinking as much as I did on the weekends, whether it be like for Sunday football. And I wasn't drinking a lot. I wasn't drinking during the week, but Sunday I would have a few beers. So like, maybe I need to cut that out. And then the second part was like, maybe I'm inflamed, right? Maybe I'm not eating, maybe I'm eating more carbs than I'm actually giving myself credit for. And I'm not, and maybe it's not an intolerance. I'm just eating too much of it. So for me, it was like that drive home was like really quiet. Didn't have any podcasts or any music on. I was just like, what are we going to do? Because this is not a sustainable. I'm not picking up this prescription just to take it all the time. I'll take it in the interim to see if it works short term, but we need a long-term fix. I'm not looking for a Band-Aid. I'm looking for a solution. And for me, that's when the switch flipped. And when you make that kind of decision and you get the results that you're looking for, there's no better feeling, right? You're like, oh, I made the right choice. And it gives you the leash to continue to make the right choice into perpetuity. And it was a tough, realization of being like, oh, hey man, the reason you don't have abs is not because you're 37. It's because you're having like an extra protein bar, and maybe you're having like too much rice at lunch, and you had carbs at dinner and you're not digesting it. There's a few different things. And I'm just like, let me just turn all the dials down and the protein dial up, and let's see what happens. And if it doesn't work, what did I lose? A month of eating pizza?
There will always be pizza and beer. So
it's not going anywhere. Right?
And again, I think it's what I want people to understand is that when you have these talks with yourself, you get curious, right? Don't just take information and be like, oh, this is it, right? From a doctor or reading a book or watching a show or seeing a documentary or some post on the internet. Just go be curious about it. Because if we're not curious about it, we're just going to live by what other people are saying. And sure, like you could have done this and you could have felt worse, right? But the fact is that you decided and you tried something and it did work out for the better, right? Now I know there's going to be go for it.
I've tried things that didn't work. It didn't work for me for, a few reasons. One, like I wasn't as disciplined tracking my food, right? Sloppy with it and lazy with it. I wasn't realistic in my calorie cut, like from like where I wanted to be I wasn't taking incremental steps. And at the end of the day, I look back at it and I'm like, this found the linchpin. It's me. Like I screwed this up. I messed this up. I needed to do better. And if I followed the plan, I would have won. But I didn't follow the plan. So now I need to follow the plan.
Yeah. And finding the plan that works for you is going to take time. That's the other part of it. What works for someone else. I don't love tracking macros. I just do it because I know that I'm going to be fucking honest with myself. And if I eat something that doesn't look good, I'm going to be like, motherfucker, damn it. Come on now. Figure this out. So that's what works for me. And I didn't do the carnivore thing, but I'm doing carb cycling for the first time since January 1st. And I have 3 low carb days followed by 1 high carb day. And I'm down 8 pounds since the first of the year. And it's, it was really hard for me to step away from I need carbohydrates to do the type of training that I do. I train an hour a day now. I'm not doing anything where I need that many carbohydrates. I don't need 400 carbohydrates a day anymore. Right. There was a time when we were training 2-3 hours a day, double sessions, getting shit done. But like I'm in and I'm out. Like you said, strength, conditioning, some accessory work, some skill work. I'm gone. I have like less than 100 grams of carbohydrates 3 days. And then I bump it up to 300 grams of carbohydrates on the 4th day. And I'm like, oh, my body is using this energy and it's not storing it. So there's no extra water weight and there's less inflammation in the body because it's not having all these carbs throughout the rest of the day. And I was like, maybe I should listen more and be more curious early on more things, because I'm like, and the thing about this is I can do this forever. I don't drink beer, but like I can have a cider, I can have bourbon, I can like have dessert, I can make it work, I can be flexible, but it's really just like meat and fruit and vegetables. And I'm like, okay, this feels awesome. So everybody's got to find what works for them, and that's trial and error. And I'm glad that you did. I really am, because you were going through it for a while. And if you were going to come back and ask me one more time what to do, I'm be like, motherfucker, did you do what I tell you to do this?
It's the truth. But you're one of my friends that will tell me the truth no matter what, no matter how hard the truth is to say. That's the only way. The only way is to tell you the truth. There's no whatever. It's the best possible outcome. There's lying never worked. Bullshitting never worked. Beating around the bush never worked. And part of why we've gotten along for so well for so long is that we don't need to lie to each other, right? We love each other, and we know that there's probably nothing you can say that's going to hurt me to the point where I can't take it, and vice versa. But that's the truth when it comes to this diet stuff too, is you need to be curious. You need to tell yourself the truth, and you need to find what works for you, but you need to be honest with yourself. Are you going to hold yourself to this and hold yourself accountable? A lot of people can't. And I was talking to the owner of my gym, George, you've met him. Yeah. And he's like, why do you think people won't do this with you? And I was like, because it's hard. It's just hard. And that's it. And people just don't want to do hard things. And I get it. And they're going to be weak-minded, and they're not going to see the results they want. And that's okay. That's not my journey. It's not my path. And it's for them to figure out.
Do you think that with your gym or other gyms, like there's in it, their routine, right? They become comfortable with their routine, that if you were to run like a challenge at your gym when it comes to nutrition for a short period, let's say 6 weeks, right? Like we've seen results, and I'm running a 6-week challenge right now. And I just got off the phone with somebody yesterday who's down 4% body fat 5 weeks into the year. And I'm like, oh, look, you ate more food and you trained a different way and it's working. So do you think that it's that diet, that nutrition lifestyle that you're living, that is what's hard in their mind, or just adjusting anything compared to what they're doing right now?
It's the adjustment, right? And it's it's hard to make the right choice all day. And that's what's tough, right? People can be really good at breakfast. They can be really good at lunch. Can they be really good at dinner? People just like, they get worn down. Whether it's the monotony of it, whether it's the, however you want to put it, but they lose themselves because it's challenging. It's not easy, right? Processed food is easy to eat and it's easy to overeat. And eating clean and sticking to a diet it takes some time, right? Like it takes some discipline, and it can be expensive too. Like
we were just talking about that this morning. I'm like, how are we out of food again?
Right. I went to Costco last week. It was like $300 a meat. I'm like, what? I'm like, that's crazy. Right? And that's just like me. Like Kate participates in its own. Oh man, I'm putting down a lot of chicken, a lot of ground beef, a lot of ground pork. But people they're used to, they're creatures of habit, and those habits are, it's amazing that we have a friend. Getting people to come to the gym every day is one thing, and now you're asking them in other things, and I think it's a tough sell. You've been really good at selling it. Yeah. I think that most affiliate owners aren't.
Sure. And that's where my head goes. I was like, I would love to come out to your gym and run a weekend seminar, because what Chris and I do now is we run a Fuel for Fitness seminar where we come in and we talk about how to eat different types of foods, protein, carbs, and fats. And we'll do level 1 style, where we'll break down what it is that we eat and then what that does to the body. And as we're digesting it, then we'll go and we'll train in a specific way based on the type of food that we eat. And then we'll cycle through that in a 1 or 2 day section, so people can actually understand the benefits of when to eat carbs, when to eat fats, that's what protein does in the body. Because there are gyms out there like yours where people actually give a shit about their performance. Yes, the community and all of that, but if we can just level up a little bit with the open coming up and people wanting to, them accepting them collecting a paycheck and sending 25% of everybody to the quarterfinals now. Whole another topic. We'll save that for next time. But I think there's a lot to it where we can, change how people understand food, and then they can eat the same things, but then just change when they eat it, which would still yield positive results instead of, hey, eat this exact meal plan.
Right.
So there's that. And that will get me out there to actually go to the spa and kind of check that place out too. So we'll set that up.
Yeah, we will. That's great, man. I would love for you guys to come out.
Awesome, dude. Look, we covered a lot today, and we can keep this conversation going, I'm sure, but I'd rather put a pin in it and come back and let people comment and share this below, because if you guys enjoyed this, please post this on your social media. Only thing I ask you to do is subscribe. If we left any information that you found valuable today, Jared will be back. We will have more conversations. We have a lot that we want to chat on. But Jared, where can people find you on social?
Just on the Instagram at Jared_S_Stein. If you need me, that's where to find me.
Yeah, follow along. He's got on a journey right now. He's doing his thing, and he's just kicking ass, taking names. 10 plus years of doing this. I would say we started in 2011 too, right? Like CrossFit, like you were in the bro gym doing Fran, like me, and all of that. So we've come a long way. I don't know if we're any better, but we've come a long way. Awesome, dude. Thanks for coming on today, and have an awesome day at work. And say what's up to Kate for me. Congrats again on the engagement, and we'll talk to you later, brother.
Sounds good, bro.
All right. See ya.
Yeah.